Hey YouTube, my name is Jupiter James. Welcome to my side of the channel where I do what I want when I want. And today I want to talk about astrology. So this is going to be the 9th part of my Signs Through the Houses series. And today we are going to be talking about the 9th house of astrology. So the 9th house of astrology governs the theme of college, higher learning, traveling, your father, anything that has a higher ideal or philosophical trait to it. This is where the 9th house is. So charity and like karma, almost like whatever, like it's a very dharmic house, right? So it's like the house of where the good, ideal, religious, philosophical learnings are. Like it's a very collegiate house. It's a travel house. It's about hidden powers, and not of you, but of like the universe, the hidden truths, the higher truths of the universe, and higher learning and traveling, and your father. That's what the 9th house is about. So this also has different qualities to it depending on the sign that runs through it. So it has the same theme, but it's going to be colored a different way depending on what signs go through that house. So let's get into it. Let's start with the first sign, Aries. Aries is a very fiery energy. It's very combative. It's very warlike. So this automatically gives me the impression that with Aries being in the 9th house, this is going to be someone who probably travels, and when they do travel, they go on like whitewater rafting trips or hiking trips, or the schedule in which they take when they are traveling is probably like they love to be busy, or when they are busy, like it makes them sweat. Like anything that is, it's like you're probably always going. You're on the go when you are traveling. You love an agenda, an itinerary, and you're on it, and you're speedy. And if you have an agenda, you're probably going from hiking to a cenote to RV riding and like zip lining. Like you want a lot of activities and a lot of things to do when you are traveling. This also lends the quality of, like, in my head, I'd say like a college athlete. Like you might be a college athlete in your school or in your higher learning. You are probably someone who also probably gets into battles with your father. Your father is probably a very fiery energy and is a very confident figure in your life, someone who's very confident. So your father's probably very confident. You're probably a college athlete, or within your college, the teachers that teach you are probably very aggressive with you, or challenge you in a way that is very like warlike. When you do travel, you love to keep up an itinerary that makes you very, very, very like hot. Like you want to be very active and adventurous on your travels. And yeah, your college will probably be, you probably will be a college athlete. If you do have Aries in the 9th house, write down below. Let me know how that manifests for you. So moving on, we are going to go into the Taurus sign. Taurus in the 9th house is going to lend its energy of Venus. So with Venus being in this house, you will probably be someone who their father was a very grounded, secure figure in their life. Like someone who provided money and provided stability, not only monetarily and maybe financially, but also in a philosophical way. Like very, probably showed you what the ropes were philosophically. So not only letting you know what his philosophies were, but showing you them in tangible reality. Like wherever Taurus is, Taurus brings it to tangible reality. Like they want to touch it, feel it, hold it, mold it, show it, like you can see it in actual reality. So also with Venus there, you could also be someone who probably, I don't know why I say like books. Like books are a big thing for you. Like you probably love books for some reason, like a deep attachment to books. Not Kindle books, not ebooks, but like actual books. Like again, tangibility is very Taurus. Taurus is the most grounded sign. I don't want to say most grounded. I'd say the most earthly sign. There's a difference. But yeah, so with college, you probably are very slow to learn. It probably is going to take you a minute to get to college, or while you're in college, it's probably going to be a while before you do, you know, graduate. Or to graduate, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of like slow moving steps to get to where you want to be or get to what you want to achieve. And yeah, you also will probably find love in college because Venus, you probably, yeah, with Venus coloring this sign, I don't want to say that exactly, but you might find love in college or your soulmate in college, because Venus is in that house. So yeah, you're probably very lucky when it comes to college, because again, Venus is in that house. You probably love music. You're probably studying art. You're probably studying art in college, or for you, philosophy and art and music are probably one and the same. Like you're probably a fashion design student, or like, yeah, like a fashion design student that's very tangible beauty. College, that's like you're a fashion student. If you have Taurus in the 9th house, can you let me know? Did you go to school for the arts? Did you go for fashion or acting or singing or modeling or photography? Are you an art student? Was your father someone who wanted to show you the ropes tangibly and not just vocally, but wanted to show you how to do things in reality, and that became the philosophy of the family? If so, let me know. I would love to know how that manifests. But for you, that is how Taurus in the 9th house manifests in your life. Moving on, Gemini. Gemini in the 9th house is going to be someone who I can see in college who is probably on the debate team. Like, how you got to college was you probably had to write a big seminar or make a big speech, or you're studying communications, or you are studying like, yeah, you're studying like communications and the written word, or you're an orator. Something in college has to do with communication for you. And your father was probably the same way. You probably had a father who they spoke philosophy to you. They showed you the ropes vocally. Like they were like, hey son, hey daughter, hey such and such, do it this way, do it that way. In this family, we do it like this. Over in this family, in this bloodline, we do it like this. And he would talk to you about it. Like, so you are probably someone, and then also in your travels, you are probably someone who's always zipping around, or you travel to gain more knowledge mentally, and you probably love to talk to foreign people, even though you probably are really good with foreign languages as well. Like you know multiple languages, or you're learning multiple languages in college. Yeah, that seems right. Okay, so all right, so let's move on to Cancer. Cancer in the 9th house is going to be someone who I'd say their father was probably a very mother-like figure. Like they probably had a single father that played both roles, where the father was took both roles. He had to fulfill both roles. Was also a provider and a nurturer. Your father's probably a support system for you and very like supportive of you. Your father was probably someone who was very psychic emotionally, just knew how you were feeling, knew what you needed emotionally, like tended to your wounds, tended to your ailments, and was able to heal you and nurture you emotionally and physically. Like very, very good, very hands-on father. And when it comes to college, you will probably be someone who doesn't go too far away for college, because Cancer being a very home sign, you probably stay home for college, or you're probably doing college at home, or for you, college is like, yeah, that's what I don't know why, something tells me like you'll be doing college from a computer at home. Like maybe you'll take online courses at home. Like Cancer is very home-like sign. So yeah, this is also a placement where sometimes your philosophies are very spiritual, very emotional philosophies. You are emotionally connected to the philosophies that you hold. You're probably a very sentimental character, a very sentimental person, someone who is driven by sentiment, like an emotion. When you do go and travel, you want wherever you do travel to feel like home. You don't really want it to feel foreign, or it feels too much, like it feels too foreign. You don't want it to be too foreign because it feels too foreign to you. So yeah, that's Cancer in the 9th house. If you have Cancer in the 9th house, I would love to know how that manifests for you. Everyone's different depending on your chart, and I would just love to know what things manifest in your life. As a Cancer, do you take online courses from home? Was your father a single father that fulfilled both roles for you? Let me know. I would love to know. Awesome. Okay, so moving on. We are going to go to Leo. Leo in the 9th house is going to be someone who is probably very expressive when they travel. Their father was probably very expressive and showed them qualities of how to express, and from there they took that on as like, oh, this is how you express and this is how you be, and like you value, like not value, but a philosophy of yours is kind of like being yourself and doing you and expressing it boldly and proudly. Your father was probably like the alpha leader and had a pride, like, you know, like the Lion King. Like it was like he was the king of the jungle, and he kind of showed you like everything that touches the light, young one, will be yours. Like you had a father that had a presence and would protect his pride if need be, protect his pack if need be. In college, you are probably someone who probably takes up acting or anything that puts you on stage. So you were probably a college athlete, or studying acting, or something that just puts you in the front and center. Whether it could be anything. This could be anything that puts you on the front page newspaper in your college, or puts you at the front and center within your college time. You are also probably someone who travels for work. You're probably a traveling actor, or a traveling like cruise ship performer. Like that's what I think. Or like a travel, like you're probably on tour for something a lot. Like that's what that feels for me, like with Leo being in the 9th house. So if you have Leo in the 9th house, could you let me know what that means for you? Was your father like Mufasa from the Lion King? Are you a traveling cruise ship performer? Are you someone who was put on the newspaper in your college, or were you a star athlete in your college? Did you study acting in college? Did you study something that honed your craft of you becoming a star? Let me know. Write it down in the comments. All right, moving on. So with Virgo in the 9th house. Whew. Okay, so Virgo in the 9th house, this is like genius placement in my head, because this means that you were probably valedictorian growing up in your in college. You probably went to like Harvard or like an Ivy League school, something that is very it required perfection of you, and it required a certain amount of servitude for you, and it took a lot out of you to able to do this within your college career. And I also say that like Virgo, your father probably also tended to you, but also served you, but also wanted perfection from you, and probably instilled some sense of like, this has to be perfect. Your father was probably in the military, or someone who, again, served but traveled, right? Like if you take the sign of servitude and doing things perfectly, and you take Virgo and you mash it with the 9th house of philosophy and travel, this would mean like military. Were you a military brat? Like, were you someone who traveled a lot on behalf of their father? If so, let me know in the comments below. I'm sure for you, college was a very by the book, very structured, very militant, very robotic almost. You probably studied something very, very hard, and it took a lot out of you mentally, and it required a lot of mental process. This is like genius level placement. So whatever this is in college, you just had to think very, very hard, very precise, and almost robotic like. So again, did you study like robotics? Did you study science? Did you study math? Did you study something that the philosophy wasn't up for interpretation? The facts were the facts in order to get something right. Like, you know how in English class you can philosophize things or conceptualize things and say, oh, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, as long as you're able to prove it. For you as a Virgo in the 9th house, within your college career, the answer was based on facts and facts alone. And for this means to me like science or math or calculus or, you know, something along that. Technology, where it's like, it's facts driven. Nothing left to interpretation. And your father was probably the same way. Very analytical, very talkative, wanted to serve you, but also strove for perfection from you, like, and wanted that from you, and probably instilled that in you, like, hey, I expect for you to be perfect. If you have Virgo in the 9th house, I would love to know how that manifests for you. Write down in the comments below what Virgo in the 9th house has done for you or done to you. I would really, really love to know how your college experience was, if you did have a college experience, and how your father manifests in this life. So for Virgo, when you travel, Virgo, you will be someone who carries an itinerary. You will break down the day down to the minute. Every meal, every excursion, every tourist place that you go to, you will have an itinerary and where you need to be at all times and for how long. When Virgo travels, they're going to be someone who, again, they want to travel perfectly by the book, and they have crunched the numbers, they have did the data, they have ran the sheets, and this is how they will travel the most efficiently when they travel. Now, moving on to Libra in the 9th house. Libra in the 9th house is going to be someone I automatically get that you are going to probably meet your husband or wife or partner in college. Libra being a very marital sign, being in the 9th house is a sign that when you go to college, when you go for a pilgrimage for higher learning or to somewhere, you know, away, for college, for higher learning, for pilgrimage, is where you will find union, where you will find your partner. So you have Libra in the 9th house. In my head, you probably found your partner in college. If you have Libra in the 9th house, did you find your partner in college? Like, have you guys been married ever since? If not, that's okay, but I feel like you most likely were. Yeah. Okay, so your father was someone who was probably very diplomatic, very judge-like, right? Like, I'd say like Judge Joe Mathis, like a father, but was very fair, right? He probably didn't pick favorites. If you have siblings, he probably didn't pick favorites, and he wanted, if you got a blue shoe, your brother got a blue shoe. If you were in trouble, your sister's in trouble. Like, it's very fair, and he struck a balance of fairness and harmony within the home. He himself is probably a very beautiful man. Yeah, and a very fair man, very balanced, very harmonious, and probably instilled what was right and wrong within you. So your moral compass was adopted from him because he showed you what was right and what was wrong. And yes. So if you have Libra in the 9th house, I would love to know how that manifests for you. Write down below, was your father someone who taught you right from wrong and was a very just-like figure? Did you find your college sweetheart and your now marriage partner in college? Are you someone, when you go away to foreign lands, you somehow find love, or people just want to bring harmony and grace and balance to you? Or do you uphold those characteristics when you travel? Let me know. I would love to know how certain things manifest. Everyone's different, and I would love to know, you know, how it manifests. So with Scorpio in the 9th house, Scorpio in the 9th house is going to be someone who probably has very deep philosophies, very religious philosophies, probably very obsessed with their own philosophies, and probably be very secretive about those philosophies just as well. Like, just as much as they are obsessed about them, they're not the ones outwardly speaking about what they feel philosophically or what they think the higher truths of the world are, because out of fear of being rejected or seen as strange or seen as too much or overzealous. This is someone who, with Scorpio in the 9th house, they're going to be very, very, very deep in what they believe this is all about. So also, when they go away for travels, they probably want to go alone. They probably take a lot of solo trips away, like just to clear their heads or find themselves or learn. With this Scorpio in the 9th house, when this person goes away to college, there's a big transformation that happens. There's a lot of inward transformation, like soul transformation, that happens to this person when they go away to college, or when they go away to their foreign lands or pilgrimages or on vacation. They come back, they're transformed. So yeah, they're probably very controlling when they do go away. Like, they're probably very possessive and very I don't want to say scared or frightened, but they don't want to rock the boat too much when they travel, for whatever reason. They're just like that. But their father was probably also someone who was very mysterious to them, very, like, I don't know, very, very probably controlling, very manipulative, had a lot of power growing up, their father did. And their father also probably, something with the father probably calls them to transform. Yeah. If you have Scorpio in the 9th house, I would love to know how that manifests. Write down below what you think those, or not what you think those are, but how does it play out for you? Do you have a father that's very controlling and borderline obsessive over the philosophies that he wants to teach you or instill in you? Are you someone that when you travel away to college or on vacation, you came back forever changed, or something happened to you that caused a huge transformation within who you are, on a soul level? Yeah, let me know. I would love to know how that manifests for you. So going into Sagittarius in a Sagittarius 9th house, this is a perfect fit. So Sagittarius is going to feel right at home in this sign, and this is going to be a person who simply loves to travel. They simply love to go and mingle with others that are not from their land, culture, or creed, and they are probably someone who is a student of the world. They are a student of the universe, you know, like they get their college or their collegiate experience from just being out and exploring the world and being free. Like, that's where they get their learning and their higher meaning of life, is just being in being free is where they get what this is all about. So with Sagittarius being in the 9th house, this could also be someone who it's probably very hard for them to differentiate opinion from the truth, because for them, their opinion is the truth, right? This is a sign coming into its original house. So for that person, they're going to think that what they think about the higher truths of the world is matter of fact, when sometimes, most times, it's not. It's what has worked for them. So that could be a contentious point for someone with Sagittarius in the 9th house, because it's going to be hard for them to differentiate what is opinion and what is fact according to how they see it. Because how they see it, they believe what it is. Like, that's the only way. They are also someone, they probably travel a lot. They love to travel. They are someone who probably had a father who instilled a lot of things in them as well, like who was like traveling. Their father was probably also in the military, who traveled around a lot, and they had to travel as well. Or yeah, their father was probably someone who traveled a lot and had very Sagittarius-like qualities. Yeah. If you have Sagittarius in the 9th house, I would love to know how this manifests for you. You are also probably someone who values college. You are someone who loves to learn and loves to teach what they have learned. So if you have Sagittarius in the 9th house, I would love to know how this manifests for you. Write down below what this means for you and how these things have manifested in your life. Moving on to the 10th house. 10th house of Capricorn. So, not 10th house, 10th sign. So the 10th sign of Capricorn is going to fall into the 9th house. This means that this person probably travels for work a lot. When this person does travel, it's probably very painstaking for this person. It is probably restricted this person from traveling for a very long duration of time within their lives for some reason or another in their life. Like, in order to travel was a great ideal of theirs, and it was something that was not attainable early on in life. Or if it was work. It had to do with work. Like, that's the only way they were able to travel. Every time they travel, you got a sense of like it's work. And if these things aren't so, then what this also means is that this person's higher ideals of what they think this is all about is it's very grounded. I wouldn't say too spiritual. Like, this could lean either way, right? This could mean that this is like the Christian, right? This is a Christian person who believes in God. It's very just secular, very traditional. Or this could be a person who doesn't believe in any of that stuff at all. Like, it's either one or the other. And their parents were probably, their dad was probably a very traditional figure in their life. Someone who really taught them grounded traditional values in life. Nothing crazy, nothing leaning too far one way or the other, just very traditional. And yeah, and you probably also went to a very nice college as well, something very, very nice. Like, and within that college, it required you, even though it was nice, it required a lot of hard work from you. It was probably the hardest thing you probably ever had to do, with Capricorn being in the 9th house in your college experience. So if you have Capricorn in the 9th house, did any of the things I named or said resonate with you? If so, let me know in the comments below. I would love to know how that manifests for you. We're all different, and I would just love to know what that does for you, what that gives. Capricorn in the 9th house. Okay, so with Aquarius in the 9th house. Aquarius in the 9th house is going to be someone who was probably very detached from the father. Very like, their father was probably someone who was very technological or zany or very abstract or avant-garde. They probably had a very strange character as a father. Like, their father was someone who was very detached for whatever reason, maybe emotionally unavailable, and they probably did instill things within them that made them have like a hope or a drive to push humanity forward in one way or another. But yeah, so with Aquarius in the 9th house, you are also going to be someone who values, like, when you travel in a very strange way. You travel in a very off the cuff way, or you probably have very crazy experiences when you travel. Very like, wherever Aquarius is, it lends the energy of Uranus. So Uranus is known to be like the lightning strike, right? So when you travel, you probably travel on a whim, and then when you do travel, like, crazy things happen to you while you're traveling, and you interact with all different walks of life that are like strange characters, and strange people want to come up to you and interact with you. In college, if you did go to college, you were probably someone who probably studied technology. You probably studied like humanitarian things. Like, you were probably a rebel in college. You were someone who was always thinking about, like, what can I do to revolutionize the world, or what can I do that can change the world? And that's what you kind of value in this life philosophically. That is a higher ideal for you. That's something that makes you think about what all this is. You think about what all this is in a very strange, avant-garde way. And that's Aquarius in the 9th house. If you have Aquarius in the 9th house, did any of this resonate for you? I would love to know how Aquarius 9th house manifests for you. Did you have a father that was very unemotional and detached? Was your college experience very strange? And were you always someone who was thinking about, or are you someone who's always thinking about, leading the charge and revolutionizing the world in some far out way that you see possible, and you see just it's right there, but you need to be the one to lead the charge. Yeah, let me know how that manifests for you. So with the last sign, Pisces in the 9th house. So with Pisces in the 9th house, this is going to be someone who, with Pisces going into a Sagittarius ruled house, right? This is going to be someone who probably is extremely spiritual. There's someone who, for them, they probably didn't go to college. They are someone who the universe is their college, like God is their college. Did I say the universe is their college? Yes, the universe is their college, with Pisces being in the 9th house. If they did go to college, they wanted to study like theology or mythology or music or the arts. Like they were someone who was very artistic and is artistic, and that is what is a higher ideal for them, is their art and like and God. Like that's what they think about. They think about God when it comes to that. Their father was probably someone who was like that as well, who probably instilled religion and God within them, and a love for the unseen and the unknown, or a connection with that. When they travel, I feel like they probably have normal travels, but for them it's a very spiritual experience. It's a very like calming and spiritual experience when they travel, and they see God when they travel. They get a more of a connection and with what they deem, spiritual when they travel. So that is going to be my Signs Through the Houses series. If you have anything you want to ask, if you want astrological coaching or a birth chart reading, a love reading, anything at all, write down in my comments below and or hit the links in my description box below, and I would love to help you out with whatever you are going. I have a multitude of resources and a lot of experience, and I've helped a lot of people get through whatever they need to get through in their life and in their journey, and I promise you there's an answer for what you're going through. I would love to help you. Just write down below, and I will see y'all on the next one. Y'all have a good one. All right, Jupiter James signing out. See ya.